Hey, yo, Beef, is this Mike Live, dog?
This episode is brought to you by our sponsors, Four Corner Brewing Company and Top 10 Records. Drink a beer locally and spin some tunes at the oldest record store in Texas.
And we're back from a much-needed break. Much-needed break. I can't even talk anymore because that pizza from Home Run was delicious. That's all I got to say.
Shout out, Home
Big
Run.
shout out to them. Every time we're at Top 10, make sure that you order Home Run while you're listening to this episode because they are Oak Cliff and they've been around since the 90s, probably 80s. I don't even know anymore. Good pizza. That's all I got to say. Good quality. We are back. We are at Top 10 Records, drinking beer, eating pizza. Big Mexico, you had a question for our guests here. Go ahead and land that question.
Yeah, so we're kind of like within the same age bracket, I want to say. You're not that old. I'm not that young. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? You're what? Oh, no. We're not going to
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Ask the fucking question.
Yeah, we're going to
He's the youngest one.
Yeah.
Ask the question.
Which is weird.
Basically, what I'm trying to say is like we both grew up kind of like with the internet, right? Mm-hmm. And I think at the time, especially like in the early 2010s, I want to say, Vice was a big thing. Vice magazine, Vice, media.
Vice on YouTube.
Yeah, Vice on YouTube. It went to
great.
shit because of money problems. Because
100%,
like
yeah.
based off what Eddie Wong was saying, because fresh off the boat, he was saying that like he was getting just fucking checks. Like anything he wanted, anything he wanted to go see, Vice was just paying for it like outright.
Psychedelics in the Amazon?
Psychedelics in
Let's
Amazon.
go ahead and book that.
He was fucking just like paying for it. Like Vice was just giving money to like young journalists that didn't even have that much time within the game. Like, here, you want to go? Okay,
just to do stories. Yeah.
Just to do stories.
Good content.
Yeah. So my question to you would be like, did Vice play a role in like your journalism? If it did or if it didn't?
Yeah, I would say yeah, mostly because they were the only people covering the type of content that I would like especially with the whole psychedelic stuff. But they also did a real good segment on nautical cinema, and that's something I find very interesting. But they have a very good segment on them as well. But overall, I would say yeah, just because of the content or the stuff that they were covering. Basically, they weren't just like any other news organization, and they were geared towards more of the taboo stuff, especially because of the internet. And I think that's what birthed that whole that niche of content.
Doing any story that you could find, like it doesn't matter if it had to be like professional or like safe. If you want to do that story, you could do that story. I think that's what Vice gave a lot of people confidence to do.
Yeah, 100. And I also think that they birthed that whole genre of stories where even now, was it Channel 5 that we also said? Channel 5.
So
they kind of do something similar.
We're not talking about Channel 5 NBC. Can we go ahead and
I was
clarify
saying,
that?
what are you saying about Channel 5?
So for the listeners, the story behind the Channel 5 thing was that like this is what Andrew said. Andrew Callahan, the owner of Channel 5, he said Channel 5 was never copyrighted.
Yep.
Like no other news source can say that they're Channel 5. Mm-hmm. So he was the first one to act on it. So now they own the patent for Channel 5. So by law, they're the only Channel 5 that exists. Like you can go to
freaking cool.
Yeah, that's very smart.
Cool.
You could go to any state and then they have like Channel 5 News,
Yeah.
but they have to say they're Channel 5 News based out of like Albuquerque, for example.
Yeah, no, Andrew, that's his name, right? Andrew.
Andrew Callahan.
I recently saw a lot, started following him in regards to what he was doing, but I've always seen clips of him.
Yep.
But for the most part, I think it's funny how he does a lot of his stuff in a suit.
It's like the iconic brown suit.
Goodwill.
I just think it's a good attention grabber. You see this white dude with long hair, and he just has a suit on, so it's very welcoming, I guess I would say.
Yeah.
But I started, kind of keeping up, and he's just so tapped in with all the big events. It's just crazy how something happens, and then 2 days later, he's already posting the video in which he was already there. And I really admire that, and just because of the fact that he's trying to be first in a lot of places. And I think that's always the best way to put yourself in front of people, just by being the first person there. Yep. But I also think he's doing something similar in regards to the content that he's putting out, where he's not being censored in a sense because of the fact that he built his following the way he built it, so it's very grassroots. So for a lot of those people, that content is it's catered to them. Yeah. So that kind of similar to this, like the zine, I wrote it in a kind of taboo version because of the content that I'm speaking of, but it kind of, the people can relate to it because it's something that they're used to, especially like the firearms, the fair stuff. Yeah. So I didn't start really listening into Andrew until after I dropped this, but I started to make connections, and I went as far as to think like, man, it'll be cool to jump into that medium of video and film. Yeah. But I would say I would go more towards, I don't know if y'all watch The Daily Show. I would go more with that route. I would go very political satire instead of because I fuck with Andrew, like very informative, very in the cut, like very boots on the ground with all his
It was raw.
Yeah, and he's there. I think that's the big difference. Like he's not sitting behind some desk with the video playing behind him. Like he is in the video.
He's the one recording the video.
Yeah, because he got deported, right? So he did the whole thing where he was like, let me see how it feels to cross a bridge. So he went over to Mexico, came over to the U.S. side, got put in handcuffs in a holding cell.
Ice holding.
They did a whole animation of him being in jail and like him getting released. And he was like, yeah, it wasn't that bad. Like the food sucked, but it wasn't that bad. And it was just like, what the fuck? Like you went in there and like he did that. So apparently he was like considered, I think, a felon after that because it was like a federal offense.
So he caught the charge. Or
He
got
the charge.
His whole thing was like, he's like, I'm an American. Like, what if I'm trying to like sneak back into America? Yeah. And he's like, I didn't know it was that big of a fucking deal.
Yeah, it's still illegal entry because you're not entering through a port.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
It doesn't matter if you're a citizen or not.
So he still got fucked over in the end, and he waited like a week and a half to get bailed out.
It was crazy, bro. Yeah. They did a whole animation on him being in jail.
I guess that hits another subject too. Is like a lot of I like recently I've seen like a couple YouTubers. What they're doing is they're implementing a 3D model to like their videos.
Yeah.
Which is really fucking cool.
Yeah.
Because like I think Andrew was one of the first ones that did that.
I want to say one of the few. Yeah.
One of the few first that did a 3D modeling retelling the story that he lived. Because they don't have footage. They have footage, but it's not footage.
And it was like the last footage that they got was him getting arrested, right, by Border Patrol agents.
And the ICE agent taking the camera and being like, "What the fuck are you doing?"
And they stopped it, but he was like, "We're able to recover it like through this whole system. I guess like an iCloud, right? And I could be wrong, but they were able to get that footage of him getting arrested and the Border Patrol agent picking up the camcorder, showing his face." Him getting locked up, and it was just like, what the fuck? Like, how did they get this? But he went back to it, and it was like, we were able to do and get that footage to the cloud and like show what exactly it goes through. And they did the animation of him being like in prison, and he was like, yeah, I was like in this population cell and blah, blah, blah. And then I was isolated. It's really, really cool.
As he's explaining it, they're basically showing the animation. Yes. I think that's very similar to, I don't know if y'all seen Tales from the Trip. You never watched that? So if y'all get
I've seen Swamp Stories.
Like if y'all get on YouTube and type in Tales from the Trip, it's just some famous comedians. Sometimes it's like random musicians. They start retelling trips that they've had off psychedelics, and it's basically animation playing in the background.
I think Comedy Central did that too.
Yeah, I think that's right. That's what does it. Yeah, them. Yeah, and they have like a bunch of them. They're all over YouTube. But when y'all bring up animation over the narration, I think of that as well.
Oh yeah.
But the whole medium of I like Andrew's whole being on video. I think to me that's like a big step towards what I would want to do, like in the long run or with the zine. But that's also very time consuming, and it requires bigger investment, bigger team, bigger crew. And not that I don't want to do it. It's just something that I would want to work towards for sure.
So like I just Googled it, right? Tales from the Trip. Comedy Central came up. Tales from the Trip. Yeah. Has a rating 8.5 out of 10. So
Bro,
it's like
funny.
They're
funny.
Yeah, and it says like overview is like animated psychedelic journey with funny people as they recount their hilarious, scary, and sometimes dangerous experience with DMT, acid, shrooms, salvia, Molly, and more.
Yeah.
Bro, salvia's a trip. That's all I gotta say.
It's like,
Michael Phelps doing salvia.
It's like whenever we tell about our drugging stories, it's pretty much the same thing.
Yeah.
But drugs,
with animation.
Yeah,
but
with
better.
animation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And with psychedelics.
There's an illustration to show you.
And a lot of them are comedians, so they just have a way of, saying the story in a funny manner. So I think that, to me, I think that's what's the funniest is just that they know how to say it. But then there's also, I think, who said OGZ or who was Prince?
OG.
So he did it too. Yeah, he did that whole Tales from the Trip, and they just have some of them have just crazy stories, some of them are just random. But when you speak about animation with narration, I think of that for sure.
Have you ever done peyote? Have you ever done peyote? I know like Texas, you gotta go to permit to like grow peyote. But have you ever done peyote?
I haven't done peyote. I've seen that ironically that guy on Vice. I forget his name. But
Hamilton.
yeah, him. Is it Hamilton or
It's Hamilton.
Yeah, because he had another show himself where he had two shows. He had one.
Pharmacopoeia.
They're really good shows, but I saw him eat it one time, and he just said it made him very nauseous, and it just wasn't really appealing to me. But for the most part, psychedelic wise, I mean, acid, Molly, DMT, pretty much. I wouldn't say the basics, but the ones that most of the people get
most
into.
common
Mushrooms, for sure.
Yeah.
I think the crazy part behind the whole thing is that these are things that I I seen when I was a kid, right?
Okay.
And then now that I'm a fucking grown ass adult, it feels like not that far ago when I was learning about the shit. Like the Hamilton's Pharmacopoeia. Like recently I saw an interview that he recently did with Andrew. They were talking about Vice. They were talking about like when he had his own show. And just to see the fucking age difference between like when he first started recording like that episode, like that little content, where he would do the DMT, all the psychedelic drugs. Yeah.
In the jungle,
like
getting
you
poked.
see him.
Was that the guy that licked the toad?
Yeah.
Okay.
So you see him in those old videos, and then you see him now. You're like, what the fuck? Where did time go? Because some shit that like I've seen that like to me it feels like it was like 5 years ago. It was really like 15, fucking almost 20 years ago. And then you see the age difference. You're like, what the fuck? Like
he's the reason they had the posters in school.
No.
No, that was different, probably. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, no, but yeah.
Remember Red Ribbon Week?
I think
Yeah,
I think he said like the craziest shit that ever happened to him in Vice was like them learning like the process step by step on how to make DMT.
Yeah, I
Like,
watched that
chemically
episode for
good
sure.
DMT.
Yeah. He made it in the lab, and then they got
and
it from
it's
the
step by step. It's like they don't want to say that it's like a how-to manual on how to make DMT, but it's damn near the fucking same thing as like learning step by step on how to make DMT.
Bro, the thing about those, like any psychedelic, it has a recipe. So if you have knowledge of basic chemistry knowledge, you're able to make it, and that's why a lot of people have it, because it's something like it's not like weed where you got to grow it, or coke where you got to extract it from like the cocoa leaves. Yeah, and well, it's not hard to make. It's like telling a baker, like someone that bakes bread, hey, here's a recipe for this bread. Make this bread. They already know how to make bread. They just have to follow that recipe. If you tell a chemist, like here, make this, they'll be able to make it. Like I don't want to say too much, but I knew someone that can make it, and we tested the purity of it, and it was very similar to like the scene out of Blow. Where like we put it on this thing, and it's like if it turns purple, that means it's pure. And the more purple it is, the more pure it is.
Okay.
And as we dropped it in there, we're just sitting there, and we're just like, okay, it's purple, like instantly. And we're like, man, it's getting more purple.
Oh shit.
And we're just like, and it looks black. Like that's how dark it is. And even my homeboy was like, man, that's crazy. But because it was a one touch, meaning there was one touch from the lab, like we got it straight from the chemist, and everyone that we gave that to, or that took some, like they all said the same thing, that it was the best that they've ever dropped. And even personally taking it, I can say because like we took some, and man, we were tripping balls. It was just next level. And it was funny because originally when we got that batch, we got it secondhand, through another person. And when everyone buys, when people buy acid, I don't know. Most of the time they come on those funny sheets where there's usually like a character or something.
Yeah.
And this was just straight white on white.
Oh wow.
Like it looked like those blocks that they teach little kids how to count. Like tens and ones and fives. Yeah. And I remember thinking, like, man, did this guy get us? Like, did he just sell us like a blank sheet? But then when we dropped it, we're like, oh, this is not blank, bro. This is not blank.
This is out of a fucking lab.
Yeah, but again, that's why, because, you think like, man, that's crazy. Like, that's not true. But, logically, it just makes sense. There's, again, I don't want to say too much, but it was being made in an official school lab.
Okay.
This person was a student, so they had access to this. So, like, we were getting it one touch. So it was like, man, it was just just as pure
Pure
as
as,
you can
yeah,
get,
I was gonna say
you
pure
know?
as it can get.
Yeah, so stuff like that, DMT, I've tried it here, but I got it from my cousin who got it from some Indians in Denver.
Oh, shit.
So they make it on the reservation, and then that's where I got it the first time.
Mm-hmm.
And the second time, Mexico City, I have my cousin goes out there a lot, so I have a number where it's you text it and they send you the menu.
Okay.
And you just order what you want. And DMT was on there. Not the last time, but one of the second time I went, and I ended up buying it and smoking it over there.
Oh, wow.
But yeah, it was the DMT is just like a whole nother level of psychedelic. The way I explain it to everybody is, when you're on acid and mushrooms, you might see let's say you have a dog. You might see your dog, and it might look bigger. It might look like it has like a weird face.
Okay.
But when you smoke DMT, but you see like a dinosaur.
What the fuck?
Like you see something
Okay.
completely like for example, when you're on acid and mushrooms, something's there and you might be tripping. It might be the visuals making you trip. But when you smoke DMT, it has you question all of reality. Like, was that life that I was just at, was that real life or is this real life?
Is that the ringing?
The
Because
DMT?
I heard with DMT is like there's like 3 levels to it, and it all goes based on like ring factors, right? So like the first ring, it's like kind of it's like mellow. You hear the little ringing sound, and then there's the second one, and the amount of hits that you keep taking of DMT is based on the amount of ringings. And like this is what I heard. I haven't done it because I don't fuck with that. But like what I heard was like, if you make it past the 3rd ring, that's when you start experiencing like otherworld shit. And then there's a point where like you either come back from it and like reflect, or you just never come back from it at all.
So now you're right. I haven't heard it explained like that, but yeah, because for example, there is a ringing, like straight up, there's a crazy ringing that you say that. But so one of the weird things about it is it's one of those substances that affects you instantly. Like as soon as I took my first hit, everything just went like, like everything just kind of slowed down.
Yeah.
And then when I took my second hit, everything looked like an oil painting. Like if everything you're staring at was painted in oil and then evenly smeared, like one way, whichever way. That's how I looked on the second hit. And then once you hit it the third time, it's called blasting off, where you physically feel like a rumble and you physically just get launched off into another dimension. And I say that, and for people that may not have done that, they may sound insane.
Yeah.
But if you've done it, then you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Okay.
Like you literally go into another world where it just it's different.
That one time that we got high, or I got high, it might have been that, because the way I experienced that, we some random dude. We were at 10 Bells, the original 10 Bells, and me and a friend, we smoked with some dude that somebody else had brought. I don't know what the fuck it was. I was still young at the time. I was like, yeah, fuck it, let's hotbox my car, right? I took 2 hits. I don't remember the ringing part, but I remember going back to the table we were sitting at, and everything that I was staring at turned into like a Pixar movie, and the pastel thing you're talking about, it turned into just exactly that.
Yeah.
I remember looking at Oscar or Huey. I remember looking at Huey, and like everything that I was seeing was turning into like a Pixar movie. Like it was just like so like weirdly painted. I'm like, what the fuck? And I remember homie was drinking water, and I was seeing the water come down from his mouth like so.
No Diddy.
Yeah. I remember looking at it, and I seen like the water coming down like a slow motion, like it was like some kind of art. And then I remember closing my eyes, and what you're telling me now is like that other part, that last part. What triggered him was when I said, "Damn, I feel myself falling into myself, and I could see an outline of my own body." Like in neon colors. It was so weird. I see myself in neon colors.
That's a very psychedelic trip, bro. The way you're explaining it, like, yeah, because
I'm getting scared right now.
Yeah, I've been in situations where I'm seeing stuff the way you're seeing. So whatever you smoked, yeah, there was something in there.
100%. And like ever since then, I'm not recently, but I've tried smoking before, like after that, and I would still see the neon. Like it was just like one of those, like, you know, when you do something and it never goes away because of that.
It's called trauma.
Yeah, it was 100%. It was that. So it's like every time I smoke now, it's like I see neon colors everywhere. It's like pink, green, yellow, blue, in neon. Like you know, And that shit always tripped me the fuck out. I was like, what the fuck was that? We got laced with some shit, and we didn't know what the fuck it was. We smoked with a stranger. That's what the fuck we got, you know?
Yeah, that's why I don't do anybody's drugs but myself. By
I was
my
gonna
own
say,
drugs,
bro,
you know
you
what I'm
got glazed with some shit.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
That's what it was. Fuck, man.
Yeah, but that what you're explaining now is like, fuck.
K2.
That was that.
It was
I don't
K2.
know. It wasn't
It was
K2.
salvia.
K2.
It could be a lot of those.
It was the witches.
Bro,
Outside the window.
K2, I read it. I read that K2 is just whatever chemicals they mix together, sprayed on potpourri or sprayed on on tobacco, and they just do it because by the time that formula is not approved, they switch it to something else. So they just put all kinds of random stuff that they spray on it for you to smoke it and be able to get that effect. Like, there's not really like a consistent formula. I've never done K2. I've heard about
do
it.
it.
Yeah, I've heard about it.
Don't do
I
it.
heard
Don't
some
do it,
crazy
bro.
things about that. So
Don't
I'm just
do it,
like,
bro.
nah.
Trust me.
I try to go all organic, bro.
No, don't do it. They'll chase you for like 6 hours and you won't find your way home.
Oh yeah.
Who are they? I don't know, bro, but they're chasing you.
They're there.
They're there, bro.
Someone's behind
Yeah,
it.
bro.
You're
waiting-
walking around in
waiting for
circles
you.
in your front yard.
Bro, fuck that shit.
Like,
That's
where's
all
my
I gotta
house?
say.
Where's my house? I've been walking all day. Where's my house?
Yeah, bro. I was 2 blocks from my house. I drove around in circles. I couldn't get home, bro, but they kept chasing me. I don't know who they were. That's all I got to say about that. Anyways, Joshua, you got a question? You got anything going on?
Yeah. So like Jankarlo, I wanted to bring it back to the beginning for you. I wanted to bring it back to like who you are, like and what you do. So a lot of the things you were saying, like I really kind of like I fuck with it. Like I fuck with what you're representing and who you
Appreciate
are.
that.
Because it's like you said, one of the main things that kind of struck me is like we're here to like inform, but also to offend. And I kind of took it. I started when you said it. I started thinking about it. And I was like, that like I took it in context. I'm like, damn, like people will really get offended about what you have to say, but it's like it's informative. But it's like people, you're from what you're saying is like, in my perspective, from what you're saying is like, people are going to get offended, but because they don't want to hear the truth. They don't want to hear what's actually going on, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so cool for people that are coming, that are wanting to live here in Bishop Arts or wanting to live in Oak Cliff, but they don't know the real stuff that's going on. Mm-hmm. And I fuck with what your movement is, because it is a movement in its own self. And I don't know if you see it that way, but I see it that way because
Thank
like
you.
you're putting a lot of the raw, real stuff that's going on into what people are moving into, and they don't know that. And you know, a lot of people, you think about realtors, you think about people that are trying to sell a property. What are they selling, right?
Mm-hmm.
What you have here is what they're selling.
Yeah, the truth.
The truth.
Yeah, basically, that's what it is.
Exactly. So I fuck with that. And I know we were talking about it earlier, and it was about like you want to hear like feedback and stuff like that from people that have not heard that, like heard this kind of stuff before. And one of my questions was, has anybody ever made a comment like when they commented on your stuff and like where it made you want to like not want to do it anymore because it was so bad, or like anything like that?
Nah, man. To be honest with you, like I mean, you know, it's my first time meeting all of y'all, so y'all don't really know me like that. Mm-hmm. But a lot of people, anyone that knows me, they know like, bro, I feed off of that. Like like they have. Y'all seen the Dark Knight, right? When when Bane's like, I live in the dark. You know, I was born in the darkness.
Don't tell me you're Bane, bro.
Well, for me, bro, it's the hate. Like, bro,
Hate?
like I was born in the hate, bro. I was raised in the hate.
You feed off the
I
hate.
feed off the hate.
Yeah.
Like I didn't see love until I was a grown man. You know, and it bothered me by the time I got real love. You know.
Yeah.
So whenever I get anything, and the crazy thing is, I haven't received much negative feedback. Like until somebody sent me a link of my stuff being on Reddit. And when I was like on Reddit and I started seeing like all the people like, you know, hating, dry hate, whatever, like it was like Elmo meme, like inflamed, like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like I feed off of that, bro.
Because bro, like honestly, once you make it to Reddit, you see the real, like the
Yeah,
real,
100%,
the
bro.
real raw comments that people
yeah.
are hiding behind some kind of image, but like on
Fuck
social,
Reddit. That's all I gotta say,
No, because on
bro.
social media, you have people that you can look up their IP or you can look up all
their
that shit,
picture,
right?
you know, but
yeah.
they have that sense of security because, I mean, essentially they are in a safe place, you know, but I
Yeah.
always remind people like Jake Paul, Anthony Joshua was a perfect example. Like the internet is not a real place, you know.
Oh, yeah.
On the internet, like on internet, social media, people may think like, oh, Jake Paul may have a chance, but when they got in the ring, like you saw what happened.
Homie got knocked out. He got his jaw
broken.
broken. Yeah.
So
Now he's like retired or some shit, right?
He's gonna have to retire.
They took him off, bumped him down because
Yeah, he's not even on the rankings. He's not fighting nobody. But yeah, when I saw my stuff on Reddit and started seeing like the first type of negativity, I thought that was cool. Then there was some people that like for example, I would never speak on anybody. Like I would never speak on any comment directly. Like or any feedback directly. I would just speak about it as a whole.
Yeah.
For two reasons. One, like I don't want to give anybody that credit to think like, oh, I'm speaking about them or this is
like
about
you're
them.
Pointing them out.
Yeah.
Kind of deal.
The other thing is, bro, like I don't think anyone matters enough for me to talk about them. That's just my personal preference. Like that's how I move about in life because when you were asking like, oh, what if somebody didn't like this or what? I'm like, so
at that point, it's like you kind of know like I fucking made it.
Yeah, like if you don't have haters, like Zero said, if you don't have haters, then you're doing something wrong,
Exactly.
And I don't write this to like get haters or anything like that. I just think it's funny because I have seen some responses from certain people. I have seen like videos made in response to some of the stuff that I've written, and I'm like, damn, that's crazy. I matter enough for them to respond to me.
They're talking about me.
Yeah, like that's cool. Like I'm just at the crib, with my two dogs reading a book or writing. I don't be doing nothing. I don't really be doing nothing like that. Like
they made a whole video about me. That's crazy.
And I'm just really at the house just
chilling.
Exactly. I mind my business. I be watching movies. I like watching TV. Like I be watching reading books. So. It really doesn't bother me when someone may not agree with what I'm saying because at the end of the day, like it's at the end of the day, it's my opinion. Like everyone has an opinion, like, and that's okay. If you don't like mine, I also say like I'm not the only person that can write. I'm not the only writer. Like I'm just the only person writing what I'm writing. Saying it the way in which I'm saying it, and I think that's what separates me. One, I just think being a writer separates me because there's not that many other writers in the circles that I know. But also, like, and on what I'm speaking on, So, funny story is, I had got an article sold to a magazine. I don't want to say what magazine it is, but I had got an article sold to the magazine. Like, I was on the phone with the editor. We had email. I still have the email correspondence. I was on FaceTime with them, and they edited my article. So they were gonna buy it from me and they were gonna post it. And this was an article written on a review of the Deli Meat Mexico. I had written a review on it, and I had sold it to a magazine. And we had conversations. They're like, "Cool, send us a final version." Boom, it's approved. All right, cool. I got the check. And then I was telling them like, "Oh yeah, I work on these zines." And like, all right, well, like send them to me.
Yeah.
So I sent them both my zines, and then they ghosted me.
Oh,
like they didn't publish the article. They never responded to my emails. I followed up like, hey, when is this article going to be published? Because I want to do my part and promote it. I didn't hear nothing from them. I got the check, and I got 2 checks. I don't know why, but they sent me 2 checks. Maybe because I didn't cash the first one. I still didn't cash the second one anyways. But I was like, damn, that's crazy. That like I thought like, oh yeah, this is my foot in the door. I'm going to get on publication on this magazine. Then I'll be able to hopefully get more. And then it went from that to just completely ghosted. So, like, for example, I could have seen that in a negative manner and lost motivation and be demoralized and be like, man, they're probably going to blackball me. But it was the opposite. I was like, oh, hell yeah, they're going to blackball me. So then I got to I got to pave my own way, which is kind of what I'm doing with the zine. It's like, I'm making my own newspaper. Like they don't want to put me in their magazines. Okay, I'm gonna make my own magazine.
Yeah.
And that's my way around all of that. So when it doesn't deter me from doing what I'm doing, it just makes me more determined to make sure that I get it done.
But that's cool though, because it's like if they notice you, then that means somebody else might be noticing you too. Like if it's them, it's other people too. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I try not to. Like, I try to be very humble in a sense because at the end of the day, I always just tell myself, like, bro, it's just me writing. Like, that's really what it is. I'm just writing. Like, at the end of the day, if this wasn't printed, everything in here would have still been written because I'm still going to go home and write. Like, that's just what I do. Like, just like I said earlier about that idea about the blood tulips, that was just planted in my head. And, like, I'm going to write a story about that. not because I want to, but because I have to, because the seed's already there. So I know it's gonna grow.
Yep.
So same thing. A lot of this stuff has been swimming in my head for the longest.
But
It just wasn't until I started like putting it down on paper that it started to get like the way I explain it is I have a seed. The seed grows and then it gets to be too big for my head, and then it spills on into paper. And then once it hit paper, that's when it starts to get structured.
That's good. That's good though. But at the same time, hey, bro, like on some real shit, you deserve your flowers too.
Oh, thank you.
Everybody deserves their flowers.
Yes, sir.
100%.
Everything you do, everything you put into it, it's showing. I see it.
Appreciate that, brother.
I see what you're doing. It's noticed, you know? And I'm pretty sure it's not just me. I'm pretty sure there's so many people out there that look forward to reading stuff like this. The raw shit that you're putting out there, bro. I fuck with it.
Thank you. I think that was the hardest part for me. And that's what I was gonna say earlier. Like I humble myself and I just remind myself that it's just my opinion. But then I put it in front of people and I get positive feedback. You know what Deep Vellum is, the publishing company. So you know where Deep Vellum is at, obviously.
Yeah. Don't they have and I could be wrong, but don't they have their own version of the magazine, like the Oak Cliff Advocate, but they have their own version of
So
it?
Deep Vellum is a publishing company, but they publish. So they're the biggest publishing. They publish the most translated literature in the world.
Wow,
And
okay.
they've actually won awards across the world. Like they have like some, they've had some Russian novels that got translated, and one of them won an award. And they won a couple of awards, but they're based out of Deep Vellum, and the name of the spot is called Deep Vellum. Will, he's the guy that runs it. And I went to a speaking engagement. It was him and then a gentleman from Mexico City who had his own independent publishing company, and it was right here at the Oak Cliff Culture Center. I think I want to say it's right here down the street.
Yeah,
and it was one of those cool experiences where I got to see, like independent publishers. They were speaking about how they go about doing it, different forms of publishing and all that. Well, afterwards they did the whole meet and greet, and then I got to meet him. I introduced myself to him because they have like 3 publishing companies. Like they have like Deep Vellum, and they have La Reunion, and they have something else. But anyways, the Reunion Publishing, that wing of publishing is all catered towards like Dallas, Texas type of stuff. So they have the accommodation. I don't know if y'all read the accommodation. If y'all haven't, I highly recommend it. It basically tells you the story of South Dallas and kind of like what happened with Fair Park, which is another crazy history. Yeah. And then they also printed one about Deep Vellum, and then they printed one about how it's a fiction one, but it's about Texas, but it was about when Texas barely became when Mexico barely became Texas. Well, anyways, I chopped it up with him, and I was telling him about the stuff that I'm working on, and I actually showed him this, and he's like, oh man, he's like, that's cool, take it to the take it to the bookstore and leave some there. So it was just very it was very nice to have someone like that be able to say like, man, that's good, come bring it to my shop and leave some there. And that's what I went ahead and did. So that's kind of what I'm trying to do now, is just trying to put them in places, and now they're going to be for free, so I'm able to put them in more people's hands instead of having to charge them. Yeah, that's it right there. But for the most part, I think that it helps when I put my work in front of people, because I do get positive feedback, and that's kind of what got me going into everything. Like when I posted it on Instagram, like I started seeing traction on it, and that helped me kind of tell myself, okay, people like this, So when I hear good positive feedback, it is motivating to, like, not that I was gonna stop, but I guess make a better effort to put more of that information out there. Because that's my problem, is that, like, I don't make money off of this, and I don't want to make money off of this. Like, my dream bag is getting a streaming bag. Like I started writing, period. Like when I had the intention of doing some writing, it all started with scripts. Like I remember one time I was talking to my compadre, and my compadre was like, "Why don't you write a book?" And I was like, I never thought about writing a book, but like, let me think about it. And then I worked at this warehouse, and this dude I used to work with, we would just talk about movies all day. And he was a film student, and he told me like, "Bro, you should go to school." I was like, "For what?" Like, for film. I was like, "What am I gonna go to school for film for?" And he's like, "Well, you should at least write a movie." I was like, all right, well, we'll see. So I had written some scripts, and like, well, let me try to shoot this. And I tried to shoot it, and instantly I'm like, well, damn, I don't have a lighting guy. I don't have a sound guy. Like, I just have a camera, and I have people that were down to be actors but really don't know how to act. Like, this doesn't look good, Yeah. But I was smart enough to understand that, and I was also smart enough to know, okay, well, the quality may not be the best, but I know my story is good. Like, I know this stuff that I wrote this is entertaining, like this is smart, like, oh, this is entertaining at least. Like, let me move forward with writing. And that's kind of how I started getting into writing, because I'm like, man, well, let me get better at writing scripts. So I started reading a bunch of like script writing books, and I started like writing scripts. But then I'm like, man, if it was difficult to make a short film, it's gonna be difficult to make a long film. So I'm like, man, let me just do short stories then. Like, so I converted some of those scripts into short stories, and then I started submitting them to not contests but magazines, and I started getting published. So that's kind of what led me into being like, I guess, like a straight author. First I'm like short stories, but I'm also very competitive. So for example, when I started writing, I told myself, I'm gonna get a nonfiction story published, a nonfiction piece, a fiction piece, and an article published. And I was able to do all that. Like the first thing I got published was a short story, and then I got a nonfiction one, which was like a personal essay. Then I got a longer story, and then I got the article, and then I also got a contest that I won. So I just always try to challenge myself, like giving myself like some kind of guidelines to write about, so I can, just kind of make something a little bit different. But that's kind of what it all started off. So for me, my goal as far as getting like a big bag would be a streaming bag, and realistically, it's what makes the most sense, because I'm smart enough to know, like, I'm not going to be rich off, like, these zines. I'm not going to get rich off books. Like, it'll be nice to have a top seller, like a New York Times bestseller or something like that. But for the most part, I'm going to get like the big money from some type of like streaming company if I get like a script sold or a show sold, which both are something that I have in mind. Like I have ideas for movies. I have ideas for a series. My next goal or my next challenge that I'm trying to put in front of myself is I want to get a play written and a play produced. So hopefully at the Bishop Arts right here.
That's dope.
So that would be, and I have the idea for it, and I have the short story written for it that I'm gonna change into the play. So it's just a matter of, like I said earlier, just doing it, because that's the problem, is like I'm not really making no money off of it. So it's just like I do it because I like to do it.
It's a self-investment with there's no initiative on it. Like you're not getting any money out of it, but like you're putting in the time, the effort for it with hopefully an outcome, right? That's what you're looking for.
Yeah,
right?
and even at that, like the outcome, it's a very loose outcome. Like I don't tell myself, hey man, if I drop this zine, like people have to love it or they have to do, like, I'm just like, man, I'm gonna put it out there. They like it, they do. If they don't, they don't. And then they do like it. So I'm like, oh, you know what? Let me keep this going and see how far I can take it, because since this is what's most popular for me, this is what I want to use as the vehicle to kind of promote everything else I'm going to do.
100%.
So like all the bigger novels that I'm working on, the bigger projects that I'm going to working on, I'm going to advertise them in this to kind of get the traction going for it and kind of start to attract attention for it. Because there is a lot of things I want to do, and there's a method to getting it done. It's just like a matter of doing it. And I think, to me, I had even put that as my post for like my New Year's resolution is I want to try more. Like I want to really, really try, because 2025, I half-assed a lot of everything. Like Volume 2 was supposed to come out last year, but since I was busy with work, like it wasn't able to, but I was still able to get a lot done. I was still able to maintain a lot of the following and even build some of it, which to me was kind of crazy because I wasn't as active last year as I should have been. But that's the goal for this year, is to just try more and be more active and be able to just cross out more of those unfinished projects that I have that obviously are not done.
Right.
You got a lot of support here. I'm supporting.
Oh, thank you.
I've been paying attention to that shit too. I'm like, when's the next drop? So I'm 100% sure. Like, at least you got, for me, you got my support.
Appreciate
I'm
that,
looking
brother.
out for it.
So I will tell you right now that the plan, I guess, for like releasing everything. So I bought I got gifted a newsstand, and it's basically the Dallas Morning newsstand, but I refurbished it to the Dallas Survivor Zine.
Hell yeah.
So basically what I'm going to do is, what I've been doing is I've been taking that newsstand to different events and just leaving it there for people to come and grab a zine.
Yeah.
So the goal is two things. One, I want to do an initial release for like 100 copies that's gonna have the coupon sheet in there.
Okay.
Because I want those to go out the quickest, because I want those coupons to be put to use ASAP. And those are gonna be free. I want to do 100 free. I'm probably gonna do it at the Deli Mi Tienda. Do it there and just post up with the stand and have people come get them. And then after that, I do want to have enough for the Dallas Book Fair to be able to sell them there.
Okay.
And then after that, that's when I'll probably, that's where I plan to leave the newsstand at different businesses, and then, kind of put it on tour.
Okay.
So, like, for example, the businesses that either did like an investment or an ad or a coupon, they'll get first dibs. Nice. So, like, I think Olmos wanted it at their spot, so I can leave it at Olmos for a couple of days, and people can go and get some free zines, and then I'll move it somewhere else. Okay. But the goal is now is to kind of continue to build the community and just kind of continue to connect more strings. Yeah. Like, I think it's cool that you guys are having a lot of the artists, from the shows that I know, coming to do the podcast, because I just think that just kind of helps shed more light on everybody as a whole. Because I think overall that's really what would change a lot of things. I say that in a very hopeful manner, because I think that if we're able to build a tighter community, that can lead to, making those changes that we want to make when it comes to voting, when it comes to just doing things as a group or doing things as a whole, regardless of race, religion, age, or anything like that. I just think that if you're in the same place, 9 times out of 10, like, for example, like, you and your neighbor are probably going through some of the similar struggles just because of the proximity of where you live to each other. So it's like, if we're all living in the same area, more or less, we're probably dealing with the same issues. The solution can probably be the same as well. But we really won't know unless we communicate with each other. And I think that's going to be the goal going forward with the zine, is just to streamline communication. It's just now a question of, like, what information to streamline. Just like we said earlier about misinformation, disinformation, and just being overwhelmed. I want to find like a middle ground, where I'm not giving too much information, but just enough information in a manner. Because as much as I hate to say it, like, there's a reason why these things are written in a shorter form. I don't mind writing longer form, but I know most people won't read like a whole long form piece.
Right. And I think it's cool because, like, the way you're explaining right now is like a lot of the guests that we have on here, they're all connected in some sort of way.
Some way, some form, they are all connected.
Like how you say we're all from the same hood. We all live the same struggle. A lot of the people come on here not knowing that so many people go through the same thing, and we have all these different guests and stuff like that. And it's cool because a lot of people relate, and they're on the same exact level. Yeah. The same thing you're talking about. A lot of people have said it. Like, it's really us, and it's in some form of way, it's us being like raw about it. And we're all from the same place. We're all dealing with the same thing. We're all going through the same thing, So I think it's cool that, like, the exact way you said it is like we're all going through the same thing. Yep. And it's easy for us to relate, and some people need to let that out and, talk about what they want to talk about on this podcast.
Yeah, communication. So cool. For sure. Communication is key, man.
Man, this is good. I really enjoyed this episode. Seriously, man. Brother. Thank you so much for the time. Honestly, I think this is a good closure for it.
For sure.
A lot of people didn't know who you are. A lot of people do know who you are. And I think after this episode, like, I'll give you this, man. Like, it opened up myself to a lot of other things that I wasn't really aware of, right? And then I followed you for the longest. We didn't communicate, didn't talk. And I was like, oh, this is really fucking cool. Like, what gun should I carry in Oak Cliff? That was like my whole thing. Like, I'm a Glock guy. That's all I got to say.
I got a Hellcat on me right now.
Oh shit! I got a Glock over there. Where's it at? It's over there. Springfield Hellcat, for the people that don't know, it's chambered at 9mm.
I don't like to pull out.
That's the thing. You know what I mean? Same thing.
He doesn't like my Glock, though.
No, I don't like your Glock. It's weird, bro. I'm sorry. I gotta go ahead and say that.
Glocks are cool. Those are cop guns.
Design-wise,
that's true. Though. That is true. But you know what? It is a cop gun. That's all I gotta say.
No, it's a hood gun.
The funniest thing, bro. One thing about cop related. Man, I remember we were talking about movies, and I had said something about we were talking about movies shot in Dallas.
Okay.
And I was like, yeah, man, but I like
RoboCop?
I like RoboCop, and my homeboy was like, "Bro, that's a cop movie." You know? I was like,
I thought you were gonna say Bottle Rocket, bro.
Like,
Yeah.
PTA, Paul Thomas Anderson's tight too, but yeah, not that many people know about RoboCop.
Yeah,
and I was like,
RoboCop
"Damn,
was
that's
filmed in
crazy."
Dallas.
I
man.
didn't
That's a
know
cop,
that.
and that's a
OG
cop movie,
Dallas
bro.
too, dog.
And then I love film.
And they call it Detroit.
Yes, yeah, but they're
What
in
sucks is that
Detroit.
it passed for
Yeah.
Detroit, and Detroit was terrible
Yes,
at that time,
bro.
bro.
Did you hear that they made a statue?
Yeah, RoboCop over there.
Yes,
Detroit?
yeah, it's in Detroit
That's
though.
the
It's
same
not
thing
in
with
Dallas.
Prison Break. You ever?
Oh, yeah, Prison Break's in Dallas. Prison
Yeah,
Break and
some of the
Dallas.
scenes.
Queen of the South. That
Yeah.
one was in
Yes.
Dallas too.
Oh shit, really?
There was a
Yeah.
couple of scenes of Queen of the South
Off
where
of
actually
Jefferson.
right
Right
here
here,
on
La
Jefferson
Botanica.
and Bishop.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, right there, right down the street, right by Peter Piper. They
Yep.
shot right
Oh,
there.
fuck.
There's also a house in Deep Ellum, that thing that they shot in.
I need to check that
There,
out.
too.
Veracruz, or the restaurant right here on Bishop and 8th, or Bishop and 7th, I think.
Yeah, Veracruz Cafe.
Veracruz
too.
Cafe, they filmed a scene in there. Yeah, where it was like raining, but the sun was out, so it didn't make any sense. But yeah. For Prison Break, Ray Sporting
Ray
Goods
Sporting
in
Goods.
West Dallas.
They
that
called it
was-
Phoenix, Arizona.
Yeah, that was one of the scenes where
yeah.
he goes and buys guns and stuff like that. So, but no, Dallas is iconic, and no, seriously, man, appreciate you coming by. And for a lot of people that don't know who you are, and bring that knowledge of what is behind the Dallas Survival Zine, right? A lot of people have probably bought them; they don't know the background of it, or maybe they do, and they're like they support you 100%, or maybe they bought it because they thought it was funny, right? Like we mentioned earlier, satire, good knowledge about the hood, Oak Cliff, what it is, and Dallas itself, and like I said, like one of the best things that I liked about your whole work is just like. When you go pump gas at a gas station at 10 p.m., what are you really doing, bro? Are you carrying your gat? Are you know what I mean? Like that. It's just
What
like
are you
it
doing
just,
out there?
I can relate. That's all I gotta say with that shit. I sound like Logic right now, but the rapper.
Who can relate?
But no, it's freaking cool because, like I said, it's like you speak your mind to it, and a lot of people are scared to do that, and it's fucking cool. For you get the traction where like negativity and people make videos about it, like this is what I think, and ending up on Reddit, bro, that shit's fucking crazy.
Yeah, bro.
That's all I gotta say.
I'll send y'all the links, bro. It's pretty funny
Out
shit,
of fucking
bro. Yeah,
Reddit,
it's pretty
man.
funny
Yeah,
shit,
Shit,
I
bro.
bro.
wanna see them.
Because I fucking hate Reddit, but I love it at the same time.
It's
I love it at the same
love and
time.
hate, love and
You know what I
hate.
mean? What do you think about my EDC, everyday carry? And they shit on my shit all the time. But it's like, this is what I do. It's just me. It's just me. But no, appreciate everybody coming by. Big shout out to Four Corners Brewing Company for supporting us with the beer. Big shout out for Top 10 Records for allowing us to record in their place, their home.
Shout out BB. Shout out Anaí.
Man, shout out to everybody out here that's making it, putting in the community service. Shout out to all the people that are coming in, buying records, CDs, VHS. Yes. VHS. Whatever you can get your
Cassettes.
hands off here at Top 10 Records, come support. They are a nonprofit, community supportive. So come buy a record. Come buy something. Buy something. Support them all the way you can.
We got Lil Susie.
You got Lil Susie in the mix. She's actually backstage right now.
The new little Susie.
New Lil Susie.
The new Lil Susie. Yeah.
Nah, but where can we find you social media wise? Where can we get a hand of this Dallas Survival Zine? Where can we get a hold of anything that you are publishing, writing? When is the next drop? How do we get a hold of your content?
So I'm most active on Instagram, and my handle would be @story by Jankarlo. That's on my links on there. That's where I have most of my links. If you want to read any of the pieces I got published on other websites. But when it comes to like my physical merch, the Dallas Survival Zine Volume 2 should be dropping. Hopefully, if I get accepted into the Dallas Book Fair, it's going to be dropping there. I do want to do a pre-drop that would have the coupons that I mentioned from the local businesses.
Okay.
Those would be just a pre-drop, maybe something done, very, pop-up wise. And then after that, it's just going to depend on events for the most part, where the events I'm going to be at. And I'm more than likely just going to be giving them out for free at the events after the book fair. Everything else is just going to be posted on my social media, on my Instagram. I am trying to draw more traction to my Substack. So Substack is basically like a website more for writers, for long form writing, where you can post longer pieces and people can repost you and stuff like that.
Okay.
So that's what I'm aiming to build mostly. So that's probably what I'm going to be promoting heavily. But for the most part, the zine, I'm going to be posting it, where it's going to be dropping, what locations it's going to be at. So if you follow me on Instagram, you'll be able to keep track of everything that I'm going to be working on, because I do have a couple of things that I'm going to be working on this year for sure.
Hell yeah. Okay. 2026, you heard it here. Instagram, stay active. I think there's like 3 dots where you can click to like say alert on whoever you want.
You get notifications.
Notifications on it. Let's go ahead and do that. Support the homie. Support Oak Cliff. Support what we're doing out here. Obviously, support Top 10, Four Corners Brewery Company. But Jankarlo, thank you so much for giving us your time, for handing us Dallas Survivor Zine and more in depth on what it is and what we're here to do. Right?
Man,
Simple as
thank
that.
y'all for having me too, man. I really appreciate what y'all doing. Like I mentioned, like I want to be able to help build community, and I think you guys are a big part of that as well. With the podcast, especially bringing in, just people that know each other, it just makes the conversation a bit more smoother, I guess you would say. And just being very welcoming, man. Appreciate y'all.
Sure,
this was not nerve-wracking at all by any means.
No,
not at all.
I hope
everything
not.
was laid back. Everything was chill. I appreciate the pizza,
sure,
and
dog.
it's just always nice to just chill with some good people, man.
For sure, dog.
And thankfully that we're inside on a Saturday night and
Yeah,
not
100%
outside.
not out there.
I ain't in no streets.
Did you just hear those burnouts? Because, I mean, I heard those burnouts.
I'm about to go straight home after this. You know what I'm saying? Got one rolled up at the crib.
I feel you on that. Hugo, thank you very much for coming out, putting like a quarter of your time on the mic.
Yeah, my step in left, so I had to step in. For
You're
myself.
all right, man. You're all right. I love the T-shirt, though, or long sleeve, I should say. Yeah, it's nice. It's nice. Joshua, thank you so much for being out here. Thank you, B, for being on behind the scenes, messing with the audio. Thank you so much, Big Mexico, for holding in those beer chugs for us.
Chug.
Chug. Most importantly, thank you, Home Run Pizza, for helping us get those Tums later, maybe in an hour or two. Because we got that heartburn coming in and out.
Oh, good.
We need that Tums sponsorship.
Nah, seriously, dog. Seriously. I'm about to get heartburn right now, dog. So, once you reach those 30s, it is
With great age comes great responsibility.
Man, that good flat pizza. Whew.
Josh?
Josh is crying right now.
Chat, we're cooked right now.
Other than that, I hope everybody enjoys this episode as much as we can. Thank you, everybody, for supporting us. And thank you so much, Top 10 Records. Make sure you tune in and get that Volume 2 coming out
We love you.
very, very soon. We love you. Have a beer, carnal. Beefy, let's go ahead and end this shit.